name is Todd Davis. We're out here today with Dirt Bike Test Magazine going through 450 cross-country performance race bikes today. We get to test all four of the 450s, Gas, Kawasaki, Honda, Yamaha, all the cross-country race bikes. A little bit of background about myself. My name is Todd Davis. I run TCS Power Sports Suspension Company. I've been doing suspension work for about 20 plus years now. My personal race bike is the 2023 KTM 450 XCF, which slots in directly with competition with all these bikes. It was really cool to be able to ride these bikes back to back, all completely stock. It was really good to see how all of these performed going back to back on trails in the motocross track today. Really interesting results. If what I thought I was going to feel showing up here today was not exactly what happened. The bike's stock, engine-wise, using stock maps as a parameter, it was really hard for me to beat the Honda as far as that goes. It runs the way that I like to ride, which is a gear tall. I like to use third and fourth gear a lot. It has a lot of torque. It doesn't necessarily rev out the same, but I could care less about that, to be honest. And beyond that, the changes that you can make to the bikes with the maps is pretty phenomenal. So, I mean, any first impression that we had with any of the engines, you can do whatever you want with it with a map change. The Honda to me was really impressive, and that particular bike I thought I would like the least coming here, and it ended up being my favorite bike, which is surprising. Just as far as engine character, you could ride it really low in the RPM range, which seems to smooth everything out. Third and fourth gear on the motocross track, which is always kind of what I'm looking for if I'm even making changes to my personal bike. I want to be able to ride it really low in the RPM range like that, and that's exactly the way the Honda liked to be ridden. The gas for me was second in that regard, and it's really like when you're talking all four of the bikes, you can throw a blanket over them and really mix and match. And when we're talking about just stock bikes with stock maps and not being able to make a bunch of changes, it's kind of how the order fell out today. The suspension on the Honda was really balanced and good, and I think that's what put it over the top for me. It tended to fit my body better. I could jump on it. I recently broke my leg, and the seat to peg distance was correct, where I could get up off the seat a little bit better than the other bikes and things like that. So I ended up liking the Honda the best, which was surprising. The gas was second. Again, it was a soft bike, and the motor's really easy to ride, and I'm really familiar with it. Could jump on it and ride it right away. I think with some added fork pressure from stock, it would probably change that bike dramatically. Third would be the Kawasaki. Really good engine character on the Kawasaki. Really neutral, really easy to get along with. The fork for me held it back in the overall ranking just because I felt it was much too soft, especially on the motocross track and the downhill and the big bumps and things like that. I think for that one, fork revalve and the spring rate, I know what it is. It's 5.0 fork springs. A revalve for the Kawasaki would really ramp that one up as well. And the Yamaha was kind of a mirror of the Kawasaki in that regard, where really fork spring rate held it back. It made the chassis unbalanced and things like that. The engine character on the Yamaha changed so dramatically with a map change, it was pretty shocking. Where the thing went from kind of hitchy and difficult to ride to being really smooth, good bottom end power and easy to ride in a tall gear like what I like to do. It's hard to rank them knowing how much you can change these bikes just with what's available to you at purchase. So how much you can move it around, and we made sure that we didn't. We rode them as is stock and didn't change too much stuff to evaluate them. So knowing how much you can change for free is a pretty interesting thing to do next, I think, at that point. Just changing available maps. Obviously springs you'd have to purchase. On the gas, 10 or 15 pounds of fork pressure would make a world of difference, which is kind of one of the nice things about that fork. You can make changes like that for free and play around with stuff, which it would cost you $150 a pop for fork springs. So overall, it was a really fun day, but for me, the Honda was the best.
If you liked what you saw in this video, come check us out over at dirtbiketest.com on the webs. We have bike tests, product tests, a lot of fresh dirt, and you can even support us by clicking through our links. Hopefully, we'll see you out in the trail.